Welcome to the Mindfulness broadcast. Welcome to, at least here in Southern Oregon, a very wintry looking day with rain and gray all over. I am wanting today to talk about expectations. These have been pretty present in my life lately, and I've been doing my own body of work around it. And as is the case, what I notice is there's always these kind of themes that come up when I'm coaching others and working within groups, within organizations. And expectations have been a common theme in my own life and in the lives of those I've been working with through coaching and teaching. And, what I noticed is I want to share kind of my story and then I'll get us into the practice. But I have been busy over the last 7 years, really building a business and thinking a lot about the business, thinking always about, what needs to change and how we partner and how we offer our services and who's on the team and all of this amazing work. And I haven't had a lot of brain break, a lot of time off, which has been a choice. It's been my passion, so I've been following it. But beginning of November, I basically spent November sick. I had COVID for the first time. I then decided to layer on top of that strep throat, and then I layered on top of that a whole bunch of grumpiness. And what I kept saying to my partner was, I'm just grumpy. I'm grumpy. I was noticing it in the way I was treating my family and the way that I was speaking to myself and the way that I was just showing up. And then reminded myself of this amazing gift of mindfulness. And so I used my own skill set to kind of coach myself and be present with myself in what I was naming as grumpiness. And as I I decided, well, what is grumpiness? Like, what's the emotion that's driving it? My grumpiness is really kind of this outcome. It's this action. What's driving that? What emotion is driving that? And I really sat down and I had some time on my hands. So I was journaling this, and what I could identify, I used the tool that I've shared on the mindfulness broadcast many times. I Googled the Gottman Institute's Wheel of Feelings. So if you ever, want to do this work, you can just Google that. Gottman Institute Feeling Wheel is will get you there. And I went to that, and it's this beautiful kind of color wheel that has all sorts of emotions on it so that we can actually name our emotion. It's hard to work with it if we can't name it. So when I went to that feeling wheel, what I found that I kept going to was frustrated. I was frustrated. And when I sat with that feeling, what I asked myself was, what's driving that? What's creating the frustration? And it was this expectation that if I was to have all of this time off, I should be creating, going and traveling on some wonderful white sand beach with monkeys and sloths. And I had these expectations that were driving that if I was going to have this much time off of work, what a waste of time to spend it sick. And so really, then that allowed me to get out of this automatic, unconscious process I was in and bring it to the light and say, is that serving me? I could get curious with it, move it into my prefrontal cortex. I could ask myself, is this how I want to be in relationship with myself, being this sick? And I haven't been this sick in years. What else could I do? How else do I want to be in relationship with myself? And it was this really beautiful practice of understanding that this expectation that I didn't even know was back there was driving this whole unconscious reaction, and how I was treating myself and how I was allowing myself to self-care and to treat others and to accept the love that everyone was giving me was really getting blocked by this expectation. So I'm going to guide us through a practice like that this morning. And you might find that it's not resonating with you. You might find like, oh, I don't have that expectation. I don't have anything back here driving me. And so in that case, you can just drop into your anchor. You can stay with your breath and just listen, because this is a human process. So if it's not happening for you now, you might find that you find yourself in it. So, with that, let's get into our practice. Go ahead and close your eyes, or you can take a soft gaze, which just really means to kind of downcast your eyes, not taking a hard focus on anything specific, just allowing your focus to soften from our external world and our external stimuli and just come into this moment, into this body. A beautiful way to do that is to allow your attention to just flow in and out with your breath, saying to yourself as you notice your breath, breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. And then on purpose, begin to lengthen your breath, breathing in through your nose, breathing out through your lips, slowly breathing in, breathing out. Again, this time allowing your belly to soften, feeling the breath all the way into your belly, allowing that space between the inhale and the exhale to be there. And then slowly through your lips, exhaling. Return to your normal breathing, noticing your body this morning, allowing your feet to ground to the floor, not crossed, not tapping. Seeing if you can really ground those in, inviting your whole body to be noticed, to be seen, to be present, to be felt. See if there's anything as we're still here, still in our body, still in our breath, what comes up for you. What's a current challenge in your life? Something that you find your brain continues to think about, chew on, process. And again, for some of you, might not be something that comes to mind, and don't work too hard to make it. You can just focus on your breath and listen. And for others of you, you might have had something come to mind before I even finished my sentence, or might be wrestling with which challenge to select. So just wherever you are, bring one thing to mind. And what our brain does naturally and on its own is think about it over and over. We project what if, we go into the past, why. And with that comes all of our emotions and our anxiety or grief or anger, all of these emotions. So see if you can explore just right now what emotions are present for you when you think about this challenge. And see if you can go beyond just mad or sad. And if that's what you land on, that's great. And if you can go a little bit further, do so. Maybe there's jealousy. Maybe there's rage. Maybe there's grief. And if you can identify that emotion, for most of us, our first work is just to meet ourselves there, just to accept that that is present for us, that we don't have to explain it away or justify it or reiterate the story, but just simply say, this is an emotion I am feeling. This is present for me. And in that acceptance, we get permission, we give permission to ourselves to get curious about it. And so see if you can explore, what thought am I having? What expectation did I have that might be leading to this emotion? Expectations like how we're treated, how the world should work, social expectations and contracts. What could have been said, what should have been said, what could have been done, what should have been done. Note these as expectations. And notice how our natural human tendency is to cling to those expectations. This is just us being human. And our next step is to bring that curiosity back to the present moment and say, how would I like to be in relationship to this emotion or this challenge or to myself? If I was living into my values, what might I do? What might I say? If I let go of the attachment to this expectation, what might I feel? What might I think? As we begin to close our practice this morning, just notice what took place for you in this process. Notice if there was insight. Notice if there was part of our brain that, there's part of your brain that didn't accept this. It's all helpful, beautiful, wonderful observations. What I like to remind myself often is that my thoughts are optional. So I can think something like, this doesn't apply to me. This is lame. This didn't work. And I don't have to really believe it. I can just simply notice the thought and allow my work to gently take place. Find your breath again in your body. Breathing in and breathing out. When you're ready, slowly open your eyes or lift your gaze. Thanks for being here, everyone. I appreciate you. Take care. Be well. Bye-bye.